Today we're going to show that Chris Ingham is not even appreciated by his fellow influencers. So it's not just the haters and the trolls that don't appreciate him, but even his fellow influencers, the ones that he looks up to and admires, such as this Ellie Gray here, who is one of the most recent people that Chris has followed. They don't appreciate his lifestyle choices or opinions on very many things either. It's not just us trolls and haters, is it? So Chris recently posted this on his stories. I've already shown it to you, but I'll show it again just to show that this is by he's reposting a post by Ellie Gray, and he says this: with thanks to some very special people, every single Tattle Life thread username gathered and submitted, every malicious social service call record submitted, every malicious call to the police submitted, every malicious attempt at sabotaging brand deals submitted, every malicious call to places we're staying at submitted, every malicious email, comment, DM to places we were working with or for gathered and submitted, all of it, of which we must have some of the most extensive and deranged of any influencer on that site. I hope all of you lemmings that I'm referencing in this out there are having some good sleepless nights right now. Still receiving daily DMs from users outing themselves with their real names, trying to be sly, you're stupid, or some users trying to apologise and justify their actions or reasons for being on that site. We've had some good laughs over those the last few days. Good always wins in the end, don't drop the soap. So that is Chris, and he's bonding over this sense of equally being hated on Tattle, right? So he puts himself in the category of Ellie Gray. However, this is Ellie Gray. She has 200,000 followers. She's an anti-vaxxer, apparently. Now, I don't align with those views, personally. But it's up to her what she does, right? It's her business, right? I'm not going to hate on her for that. However, some people do, such as this.
So they found out where I lived, posted my address online, which is doxing legally. Not only that, they would leave needles outside of my flat. Back then I lived in a flat with the kids. They would leave needles outside my front door, and then take pictures of it and then upload it to Tattle, and then use that as evidence and send that to social services to say that I was a drug user.
Now, personally, I think that's horrendous. I don't think Chris can say that they've had hate on that particular scale. But anyway, it got me to thinking, what exactly has Ellie done that's pissed so many people off to that extent? You know, it can't just be the anti-vaxxing thing, surely. Literally don't know what else she does. I thought she must be, like, exposing her kids to the internet or something like that, right? I thought that was probably why, because why else would you hate on somebody so severely that by all intents and purposes looks like they just running a normal like page on Instagram. There doesn't seem to be anything there to hate on, in my opinion. So it must be the kids thing, right? Because nobody likes exploitation of kids. Nobody likes kids being plastered all over the internet, etc. However, it can't be that, because look at this post. She posted this just a few days ago, in actual fact. For the past 3 years, I've kept my children offline and out of the public eye. No photos, no tags, no social media presence. Not from me, not from friends or family. We opt out of school photo sharing, and they have absolutely no access to social media themselves. That's not up for debate. Why? Because I made the mistake once of thinking it was innocent. And that's all it was. It was a mistake. That she thought it was innocent. She did something about it. I posted pictures thinking I was just a proud mum, sharing sweet moments. Until the online trolling happened. They found out what school my kids were at. They emailed the head teacher lies about me. They took pictures outside my home. My children's safety was compromised because of other people's obsession. That was the turning point. And if the trolling wasn't reason enough, here's the darker truth. Because if you think it's just because of the trolling, right, you might think, well, you did that to them, right? Well, no, she realises something even worse than trolling, right? Online predators are everywhere. An innocent photo of your child at the beach, laughing in the garden, sitting in the bath with bubbles. You might see a memory, but someone else sees content. Or in Chris's case, both, right? But this is very important. This is a fellow influencer, and one that Chris looks up to as a fellow hated, trolled person on Tattle, right? They think they've got something in common there. But Chris won't listen to this. You might see a memory, but someone else sees content. And now, with AI, that content is being used to generate child pornography. You think it won't happen to your child, but it's happening every single day. Their image, their face, manipulated and distributed in ways that should make every parent sick to their stomach. And the worst part, you gave them the photo. You handed it over to the internet. See, I've been saying this so many times. I've been saying this because they say, oh, well, in the street, there are predators in the street everywhere. Are we supposed to lock our kids away? Or, oh, well, it's the predators that are at fault. It's not the but you're handing them the photo. You're giving it to them. See, Ellie knows. Ellie, Chris, your best mate, knows, right? She gets it. She's been there, done that. She understands. You, however, just refuse to understand. Now, I never post in real time. I never show their faces. I never mention where we are until long after we've left. They deserve privacy. They deserve to grow up without the weight of an online identity they never consented to. Now, this is very, very important. They deserve privacy. They deserve to grow up without the weight of an online identity they never consented to. That little phrase there has just given me goosebumps. Literally, a whole wave has rushed through my body. And it should do yours too, right? Because this applies to everyone. You don't need to be online as a celebrity or an influencer or a family vlogger. Every single person out there reading this should be affected by it. If you have kids, you should want to protect them. You should want to protect your own children at all costs. And giving them to online predators is not protecting them at all. Okay? She goes on to say, so if there's one thing you ever take away from my posts, let it be this. Please learn from my mistakes. Do not post your children online. It's not worth the likes. It's not worth the memories. Their safety, their privacy, and their peace come first, always. And that is that. That is so important. That is such an important message from somebody who is getting trolled all over Tattle, right? And for what, I don't know, right? Because I haven't looked at her page. Doesn't seem to be anything trollable. I've heard it mentioned that she scams people, but I don't know what about she scams people. Scamming is a subjective point, right? Unless you are outright scamming people, with the knowledge that you are intending to scam them, then scamming can be subjective, right? One person might think it's a scam, other people might think it's a bargain. So, you know. Anyway, she seems to think that online, well, putting your kids online is bad, and you need to take a step back if you're doing that. And this is Chris's new hero, right? Who he seems to love so much. But yeah, Ellie doesn't do anything. Doesn't even post her kids. Doesn't post her kids. Doesn't compromise her privacy. Has the right mindset in terms of privacy, and has actually given an excellent advocate post there towards keeping your children protected at all costs. What should be most important in your life, if you have children, is your child, is your children. And if that's not your priority, if they are not your priority, then you need to get better priorities. You need to wake up and listen and open your eyes and consider what your actions are doing that are causing your children such harm and to be hated on. I mean, imagine putting your kid online and then they get this intense hatred from random strangers. It's not fair on them. So yeah, if you take anything away from this video, please take your children off the internet. And if you are have your children posted on your Facebook or Instagram, even if they are private accounts, they're not 100% guaranteed to be predator proof. Unless you know every single person on your Facebook, for example, if you know them, unless you know them intimately, then it's still a problem, right? And even then, you don't know. So it's important to protect your children at all costs. So there we go. That's just a lesson, a life lesson. I hope Chris is listening, because it's important that he does. I know his business centers around his children, but I've heard it said multiple times that he does not use his children for money purposes. He doesn't use his children to make money. His children are not the center of his business empire, and without his kids, he'd be fine to make money on his own, right? I've heard him say words to that effect. So challenge yourself, Chris, to do that. Take your kids offline, protect their privacy, and go with that. Ellie has spoken. So until next time, please give this video a massive thumbs up, comment all of your thoughts about it down below, and subscribe to the channel if you are new. Until next time, have an amazing day, take care of yourselves, and bye bye.